Gen V episode 7 is out right now. I watched it when I got in from work. Before Kyle got to mine, we watched Loki. But, yeah. I didn't do a single review last week for last week's episode because I was in Liverpool, Spider-Man came out, a lot of stuff going on. But, I think last week's episode was the best of the season so far. I still think this week's episode was great and another good episode. I actually really enjoyed this week's episode a lot, and it set us up for an amazing finale. There's one thing in this episode I wasn't a big fan of, but we'll get into that. So, yeah, spoilers for Gen V episode 7. And let's just get into it. So we start off this week, you know, everyone's kind of just starting to trust, well, not trust Kate, you can tell by the thoughts, but they've got a plan to get Shetty. Yeah, they've got a plan to get Shetty, and they are going to use Kate's powers to tell her to tell the world what's been going on. By the end of the episode, that doesn't quite work out. They get to Shetty, but Kate uses her powers to make Shetty slit her own throat. So, fuck. That's off the table. But no, the dynamic between Shetty and Kate in this episode was great. What we saw of it last week as well was fantastic. Just that exploration in Kate's mind and how she came to meet Shetty. Shetty brought her to... I'm going to stop saying Shetty because I'm getting a bit Shetty. But how she met the Dean and how they, you know, kind of just showed her a bit of affection and just won her over onto her side. And obviously that relationship's there. And there's such a sad moment in this episode where Kate's there and she tells her what she's been doing. And then she knows about the virus and all that stuff. And she's got Indira there. And because she can read people's minds, she's like, no, I do love you. And Kate just breaks down because she's like, you're telling the truth. She knows that Shetty does, in fact, have feelings for her and care for her as a daughter, but she still ends up fucking killing her. So, that was a bit fucked. Again, Sam and Emma definitely took it to the next level last week. But anytime Sam and Emma are on screen together is fantastic. But they did do one thing with Sam this week. When he gets invited out by the other lads at the school and they're telling him, oh yeah, let's go to the party, but then they actually go to Victoria Newman's. Oh, by the way, Victoria Newman's in this episode. And also Grace Mallory is in this episode. So a nice couple of the boys' connections in this one. But yeah. So they go to Vic Newman's speech. And yeah. Sam gets radicalized quite quickly. Now, maybe for someone in his situation, that can happen quite easily. I wouldn't know because I'm not a schizophrenic. Maybe. I am in my room speaking to a camera right now, so I might just be. But, no. It's, I do think he was radicalised a little bit too quick, and then for him to actually join Kate at the end, rather than someone who has shown him love and affection like Emma, felt a little bit off character to me. But then again, he's schizophrenic, so who knows what a schizophrenic's gonna do. Still really love Sam as a character, still love Emma as a character. Jordan and Marie, their relationship again, just making them nice little building blocks this episode, and they're progressing a bit more, and I'm really liking them as a duo. They're working really well. Obviously last week when Andre, Marie, and Jordan all saw each other's things that they're not proud of, then yeah, I think they all came a little bit closer together. But we actually got to see a school fight, but if all the people attending that school was a soup, that was ace. Jordan just rocks over to the girl who ratted out Emma for having to throw up, to shrink. Just walks over to her and he goes, "Oh, you're the person who fucked up Emma's life," or something like that, and then just punches her right in the face. Jaw dislocates, nearly hanging off. What more would you want from the boys? But turns out her power is in fact a healing factor, so she heals from it, and it starts this massive schoolyard super powered brawl, which I thought were pretty funny. So yeah, Andre and his dad as well. His dad has like a fit or something, and then when they're in the ambulance driving away, obviously I'm assuming Polarity has the same powers as his son, and he's like trying to implode the ambulance on the way, and he's like ripping the paramedic's arm to bits, scissors are flying everywhere, Andre's trying to hold it all together. I thought that scene was interesting, and then when he's there in the hospital with his dad and he says he's sorry for not being around, that was some great stuff as well. But the very interesting stuff in this episode was in fact Marie and Victoria Newman scenes together. I said in in my first couple of reviews, I think it was for episode 4, when it's revealed that Marie's got a benefactor, someone who's looking after her in the in the school, someone who like put a good word in for her and stuff like that, so she was off limits for the doctor's experiments. I kind of thought, I said, Victoria Newman's a good choice because she was in the same institute that Marie grew up in, and it turns out now they've got the same fucking powers. So yeah, pretty fucking cool. I don't know if that's a bit of a retcon or not with Vic's powers, because we've just known her as the head popper for so long. But at the beginning of season 3, we see her, blow someone's jaw off, and then like blow their arms to bits, and then like explode her whole body with the blood bending stuff. So, they might have had this plan all along. But yeah, no, she's got the same powers, and she's been looking after her. But yeah, and when she finds out she's a soup, she says, "Go on, tell me something about myself. You can sense things in my blood." And then she goes, "You've got Gen V, not Gen V. I'm gonna keep saying Gen V because it's like, you got compound V in your veins." She's like, "Yeah, well done." So yeah, that stuff was great. Them sitting there having that conversation on about her growing up in the institute as well. Just them bonding over that. I still, obviously, Vic's still a villain, but she's kind of. It's very interesting what the show's done from this side of things, because the boys, it's like, yeah, fuck all soups, fuck the soups. There's some good ones, but most of them are shit. Fuck them all. But now with this super virus that only affects soups, and we've, over the past couple of weeks, we've come to falling in love with all these characters. It's like, no, I don't want this soup. I don't want this soup virus to happen. This would be a bad idea. These are people at the end of the day. Obviously, we've got soup characters that we love in The Boys, like Kimiko, Starlight, even Maeve, but not a soup anymore. I think the V has been burned out of her veins by Soldier Boy, so yeah. But it's really flips it on your head, especially when you're there with Grace Mallory, and Grace mentions Butcher. Definitely mentions Butcher because she's speaking to Shetty, and she says, a countryman of yours has the same hate in your heart that you do for the Supes. And obviously, she hates the Supes because her family, her child, and her husband, I'm assuming, was on the flight that got hijacked by the terrorists, and then Homelander goes to save the day, does a terrible job of saving the day, and then flies off and just leaves everyone there, which was still one of the best scenes from the first season of The Boys, and the fact that it's still having consequences now is great. It shows that it really just wasn't this little thing that happened. Big impact in the first season. Comes into play at the end of season 2 when Maeve shows Homelander the video, and she's like, you do all to them, I'll release this to the world. And then when Starlight brings it up to Homelander again in season 3, and she's like, alright, if you don't let me do, she's like, wants to take control of something in the 7, and she's like, if you don't let me do this, then maybe this Flight 37 video will come out. And he's like, alright, do it. But once I've got nothing to lose, then that was one of the scariest Homelander scenes I've ever seen. But yeah, no, bringing it back to Gen V. Another fantastic episode. I think we are set up for a great finale. Is this show as good as The Boys? I'm really going to have to wait until next week's episode to tell you guys that, but I think if this last episode sticks the landing, it has the potential to be not better, but very in line with this show, very in line with this universe, and as a show overall, it's my second favourite of the year. The only thing that Gen V's got going against it is The Last of Us came out at the beginning of this year, and that might be my favourite show over the past 5 years, so yeah. But anyway, guys, let us know what you thought of Gen V episode 7, the penultimate episode. We've got one more left. Do you think it's as good as The Boys? Do you think it's nowhere near as good as The Boys? Do you think this was a good episode? Do you think it's a bad episode? What were your favourite part of the episode? Did you want to see more Sam and Emma puppet sex? I know I did. So yeah. And we wanted more Soulja Boy cameos. Because that Soulja Boy cameo last week was fucking fantastic. I have not watched the episode since last Friday. Sometimes I like to watch shows and when they come out, watch an episode here and there. I had a busy weekend, so I didn't really have a chance, and I've been busy working. So that wasn't going to happen. But I have watched that Soulja Boy scene so many times because it's only about 2 minutes long. And I love it. Jensen Ackles, you can jump back into that role whenever you want. For me, please, and thank you. So yeah, like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Get us to 69 subscribers. That's a funny number. Everybody likes funny numbers. So yeah, I think me and Kyle are going to do a cookbook review tomorrow. That's what we said. If we've just done a review for Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. We've just done a review for Loki, episode 4, so make sure you go check all that stuff out. We came back earlier this week with movie news, and looks like 4-5 is happening, but not with Taika Waititi. So go watch all the videos, go like all the videos, go subscribe to the channel, and tell Kyle he's got massive eyes, because that's what we like to do. See you guys later, and I don't know what I was going to say. What was I going to sign off with then? I was going to be like, and peace. That's not something I'd say. I'm just going to end it while I'm waffling, I suppose.